Your breathing should flow gracefully like a river, like a water snake crossing the water, and not like a chain of rugged mountains or the gallop of a horse. To master our breath is to be in control of our bodies and minds. Each time we find ourselves dispersed and find it difficult to gain control of ourselves by different means, the method of watching the breath should always be used.
Hello, thanks for joining me today for our pre-recorded Deep Breath and More class. We've got a great lineup, including some interesting breathing techniques that we'll be practicing. There's going to be a gentle recuperative yoga that is focused on the wrist and the hands. And we're going to finish with a healing energy visualization. You feel free to watch this anytime you like, and whatever portions of the class suit you the most. And we're going to begin by focusing on some basic breathing concepts. And remember, for your breathing, you need to practice every day to get the best out of it. But the practice doesn't have to be for an extended period of time. Even if you're just practicing for 2 minutes per day, you're going to create a habit, a way of using your breath. You're going to develop some of the muscle structures. You're going to create a sense of calm within yourself, and you may find that whatever limited amount of time you initially gave, that you're able to just prolong that and continue that practice for a little bit longer. But daily is best. And one of the simplest ways for us to do a breathing practice could be that we're seated, but you don't have to be in a seated position. You can recline back, lounger. You can recline on a couch, be on your side, on your back. You can even roll onto your stomach. So really, whatever comfortable posture you find yourself in usually works for basic breathing techniques. And so let's start with one of the basics. It is the diaphragm breath. And the diaphragm muscle exists from the front to the back of the body. It's not just in the belly area. It's like a dome shape of muscle going from this area right below the lungs. And when it contracts, it moves downward, pulling the air into the structure of the lung. As a result of that downward movement, we're going to feel the expansion of our abdomen, but also if we focus, we'll feel it at our sides and even into our lower back. It can help you to focus on the diaphragm muscle by placing your hands over your belly area. Now just begin to breathe very deeply. As you're breathing your normal deep breath, after your next exhale, see if you can cause this area of your belly to expand outward. And then exhale very slowly. Now, sometimes you might feel there's a little bit of restriction. I can remember when I first started diaphragm breathing, it almost felt like I was wearing a belt that was too tight. In fact, if your waistband or other clothing is up restricting, you may want to roll that down or loosen your belt. Now, if you can get the breath in the belly, let's try it again. So as you exhale completely, then inhale, expand your belly. And then exhale slowly. If that's working well for you, next, take your hands right here to the side. It's below the rib cage, between the rib cage and the pelvis. And take that deep belly breath, but see if you can also feel it right here at your side. And then putting a hand in the front and the back of the body. See if you can feel that sense of expansion, both front and back. It's okay if there's not a lot of movement at first, or if it's merely that you're sensing something, but you really don't feel a strong movement. It's okay. As long as you're taking some slow and deep breaths, you're doing a good job of filling up the lungs. And we focus on the diaphragm because what it allows us to fill is the very bottom structure of the lungs, instead of just breathing shallowly in this top structure as we might normally do. Let's take a few more moments for some deep diaphragm breathing. Placing hands on the belly or wherever else you like, just be comfortable. And let's take about 5 deep belly breaths. And after your next inhale and exhale, just go back to your regular breathing. And if you ever feel that you're becoming a little lightheaded or just uncomfortable with the breathing at all, just return to your normal breathing at any time. Now, in today's class, we're going to be focused on a couple of breathing actions that are going to use physical movement. And I think sometimes the physical action of helping us with our breath is a great way to help us draw the air into places that we're not used to breathing into. So we're going to start with what's called a shoulder roll breath. And this is best done if you're in a seated position. So we'll recline later. For now, if you can come into a comfortable seated position, you can recline back, but seated is best. Before we begin to move, just let the shoulders roll a little bit up and back and down. And just make some of these rolling actions. Let's make sure it doesn't feel unpleasant. You can roll in one direction. You can roll in the other direction. Okay. Now, when we breathe in, we always want to focus breath in through the nose. But when we breathe out, we can exhale through the mouth. And this technique uses that. So, sitting comfortably, relax your hands onto your lap. And when you take a deep breath into your nose, let your shoulders roll up toward your ears as you're inhaling. And then as you exhale, allow the shoulders to roll down and exhale, blowing out the mouth. And we'll do this again, rolling upward. We inhale through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Let's do a few more like that. Inhaling and exhale. Now it can be whatever speed you feel comfortable. You can reverse the direction of your roll. Let's continue on for 5 more breaths, rolling our shoulders as we inhale and out through the mouth as we exhale. Again. Now one more deep inhale and exhale. And then relax using your normal breathing. Now when we're combining action, it is possible that although we're breathing just fine, we may feel that we're getting a little fatigued in the muscle structure we're using to lift and lower the shoulders. Or we become very aware of an area that might have had a previous injury. Always limit this type of breathing technique to what feels like a reasonable amount of mild fatigue. Should be comfortable. We shouldn't feel stress or strain in the neck or the shoulder muscles. Great. So that's a great one to use, especially if we're feeling tension in our neck. Maybe we've had a tense day and we just want to relax the area, but also practice our deep breathing. Good. Now, this next technique is going to use hand movements slightly different. We're going to be raising our arms upward, and this may or may not be something that you're comfortable in doing. So let's practice a moment right now. We're going to be raising the arms up as high as is comfortable. That might be here, or it might be all the way up here. It really is fine, whatever level you can raise your arms up to. That's our inhale. And then when we exhale, we'll be bringing the hands together and back in front of us. So the action would be like this, the inhale and the exhale. Or maybe not lifting as high, the inhale and the exhale. Or maybe not lifting at all, just the hands separating, inhale and exhale. Because we're making movement and shoulder issues and neck issues are a fairly common problem, just limit the action to what seems to be the most comfortable activity. Now for this one, we're going to sort of imagine we're very tall, like a mountain. It gets called the mountain breath. We're going to be inhaling through the nose, and we're also going to be exhaling through the nose for this particular action. So again, from a seated, or if you wanted to be in a standing position, you could, but I recommend if you're first using this, try it from a seated position. And so after your next deep exhale, let's inhale, arms lifting. Exhale, palms together. And we'll continue. Let's do 2 more of these breaths. And let your arms relax in your lap, just breathing slowly and normally. Now here again, the actions we were creating could have caused fatigue in our shoulders. And that's okay if we keep it to a very comfortable amount. We never want to push ourselves. You might have a goal of creating greater range of motion, but don't push yourself up to a point that you're feeling discomfort. That is not going to help us take a calm and deep breath in. Now, this is a great breathing technique to be used if we're trying to wake ourselves up. We want to make sure that we're comfortable with the action, that we're not going beyond what would be a comfortable amount of movement for our shoulders. And so some of these actions you'll find are more invigorating. Some are going to, by their nature, have a shorter duration. And when you've completely relaxed, if you want to repeat the process, you can do that for a second or third time. Let's go very slowly through both of these techniques again. We'll start with the shoulder roll, and then we'll continue on into the mountain breathing. All right. After the next exhale, inhaling, shoulders lifting. Exhale, shoulders down. And again. Now we'll raise the arms. Let the arms relax in your lap once more. This might be a great way for us to warm up prior to doing physical exercise. It can be a great way to wake up in the morning. It could either precede another breathing technique or be a finishing touch to a breathing technique that maybe we felt very sleepy and wanted to wake ourselves up from. So these are great techniques. They create movement. They do focus us on the neck and the shoulder region, which is important to the topic that we're going to be covering next. That has to do with the hands and wrist. All right, now we're going to work into some gentle recuperative yoga focused primarily on our hands and our wrists. This is best done from a seated position, although if you prefer to stand, it can be done from that position as well. Because the nerve and blood supply come from the neck and the shoulder region in order to reach the hands, we're going to warm up that area first with a rolling forward. But now we're making very exaggerated forward and up, backward and down. Still well within our comfort level. Let's do one shoulder by itself. and then the other shoulder. You'll find that there's a lot of connection into your neck, into your upper back, even down into your lower back too. Now we're going to roll the other direction. Sounds, sensations, keep everything pleasant. Good. Now with both hands, we're going to create a wrist roll. So let's make a soft fist. And starting with the arms just hanging down, we're going to begin to circle our wrist. We're not trying to circle at the elbow. We're trying to just circle at the wrist. This might create a sensation or a sound or a feeling of popping and clicking. It's okay. As long as it's not uncomfortable, it's not going to harm anything. Let's gradually bring the arms upward as we're rolling those wrists. You only have to come up the distance that seems the best for you. And now we're going to reverse the direction of the rolling, and very gradually we're going to lower our arms. Good. Let's shake that out. Now, we're going to open the palms wide. Call it like a mixing paddle. Arms are hanging down. We're going to start to create the rolling of the wrists. And because the palms are open, we're going to sense that there is more potential of clicking and popping or sensations. Don't do anything that's unpleasant. Again, the height that we come up to is ours to create. And then we're going to roll the other direction and slowly let ourselves come back down. Great. Now the third position is little claw hands. Just sort of curve those fingers inward, hold them in that position, let the arms hang down, and begin to roll the wrists. Now, there's definitely going to be some clicking and popping if there wasn't before. So we're going to roll up. Great. And then from your desired top height of roll, we're going to roll ourselves back down. And then just shake that out. Now you'll feel the sensation of that probably in the forearm area. And that's a great way to get us ready to do a bit more with the hands. Now for the next one, we're going to use one arm at a time. And it's very simple. I'm just going to take one hand. I'm going to hold the forearm area. I'm not holding very tightly. I'm just advising my body to keep the arm moving only at the wrist. All right. I'll turn sideways for a minute so you can see. Just got a gentle hold. My palm is facing the middle of the body. And I'm going to keep my hand flat so the fingers aren't allowed to curve in. They're going to stay flat. But very slowly, with the forearm about level with the floor, I'm going to bend in my wrist and then pull it backward. I'll show you from the side view. Fold in the wrist and I pull it back. Now it's going to be difficult to convince the fingers to not fold inward when we fold the wrist in. Do your best with it. Imagine your hand was on a sheet of glass that you were moving, and the hand was pushing the glass so the fingers were not going to fold inward. And we just go back and forth several times. And we relax that, and we're going to switch to the other side. So then light hold of the forearm, palm faces the midline, hand is flat. It's like it's pushing a sheet of glass. Back and forth. So the fingers are as flat as we can. That might be something difficult. You may have to study the fingers and watch them, because the moment you take your eyes off of them, they might try and fold inward. And it could be that we're a little looser on one side, a little tighter on another. Good. And then we'll shake that out. Now we're going back to the first side, but now the palm is going to face down, and I still hold, lightly hold the forearm area, wanting to move only the wrist. I'm going to pull my wrist backward, and then I'm going to fold my wrist downward. Let's go to the side view. Pulling back. You see there's no movement of my elbow. It's at the wrist. We want the hand to feel as if it's got a piece of glass that it's pushing down so those fingers do not curve inward. And you can do this just a few numbers of times or to the point of comfortable fatigue. And that's good. Now we're going to do the other side. So again, palm's going to face down. I'm holding the wrist. We bend it down. We pull it back. From the side view, you can see I'm moving at the wrist. And it's okay if the range of motion your wrist can create is not, not able to point all the way down, not able to point all the way up. Just do what your wrist is willing to do. These are muscle structures that we're using in an unusual way. Good. Okay. Now, our last version of this is a palm up version. And this one you might find unusual. So we're going to be holding, I'll turn to the side, you can see that on the palm up. And we're going to ask our wrist to point downward. We're going to find that's a difficult thing. And then we're going to ask our palm to stay flat as we bring our wrist up. And you're going to find that it's tight. We want to act as if there is a sheet of glass against our palm that would not allow the fingers to come toward the palm. But the range of motion in this particular action is likely to be the most limited. Let me shake it out. We'll do the other side. So the palm is up, and we work to bend only at the wrist. Now you'll find if you practice these with any regularity that your wrist begins to have a greater range of motion. Never push it, never make it uncomfortable. If the fingers are folding in, just do your best to limit that. Try not to let that happen. And we will get better in time. Our brain is going to connect better, and we're going to open up the wrist to greater action. Very good. And again, we're using these muscles that are in the forearm region. Okay. Now the last action is going to be with the hands. And it's going to be a movement of our fingers. We're going to try and create a pattern of movement. So we're going to be in a palm up position with the little finger sides of our hands together. The palms right now are flat. And we're going to create movement of the fingers. First, the little finger is going to fold in, but you'll see that it takes the ring finger with it. Then the ring finger, then the middle finger, and then the index finger until all the fingers are in toward the palm. And then starting with the index finger, middle, ring, and little. So we're trying to flow in a pattern in and out. And the action we're trying to create is a nice flowing movement. At first, you may find it difficult. A lot of people are disturbed by the fact that when they fold their little finger in, the ring finger comes with them. And there's no reason that you can't create a different pattern. So if you want to start folding in the index fingers, eventually you will find that you have a little more control and you can create all sorts of different patterns with the fingers as they flow from one to another. And this is about gaining more movement and control. And it can be a gentle way to exercise our hands. And then just let that shape itself out a little bit. Good. Now, when we've done things like this, it's a great opportunity to create a little bit of self-massage. And it's pretty easy. We're going to start taking our hand. One is going to squeeze the other. And I'm squeezing in such a way that I'm squeezing across the bones, coming up into the forearm. And then I'm going to take myself from the top and squeeze back down again. Now, I'm not going to do this in any area that feels unpleasant. I'm not going to do it on broken skin or anything like that. But I'm just creating an action, going from one place to another, switching directions of my grip, noticing any area that feels either a greater need for a pressure and massage or wants me to avoid it. That might be the thumb areas. So we just squeeze around like that, and that's going to help increase the circulation of what we just did. Shake the hands out a little bit more, and that's good. All right, now we're ready for our relaxation. And so in this healing energy visualization, it's best done if you're very relaxed. And so my suggestion is to allow yourself to be in a reclined position for this visualization. And after the visualization ends, you might want to just continue there in that deep meditation. So getting into a comfortable position. I don't necessarily recommend that you be seated. You can if you're comfortable, but sometimes sitting for longer periods of time can cause us a little bit of discomfort in our back. So if you want to right now get into a reclined position on your back, on your side, whatever posture you feel like, that's a great time for it. And we'll begin shortly with our visualization meditation.
Start in a relaxed position. Breathe deeply into your belly, allowing your abdomen to expand. Slowly exhale. Let your mind focus on a spot a couple of inches below your navel. This is an energy center in your body. Focus on feeling this area expand as you inhale your breath and feel it relax as you exhale. Now imagine that this area is beginning to glow very slightly as you breathe into it. As you inhale, the glow becomes brighter. Breath by breath, the glow is increasing. It's becoming a golden, glowing sphere just at that space, your energy center, a couple of inches below your navel. Continue breathing deeply, allowing that sphere to grow brighter. Now imagine that glowing golden sphere fills you from front to back. It fills you from the space below your navel to the space exactly across from it in the small of your back. Focus on the space in the small of your back. With every exhale, it's becoming brighter until it's a bright, glowing, golden spot in the small of your back. Inhale deeply, and with your next exhale, pull your navel in slightly and imagine the glowing spot of gold in your low back will rise upward along your spine as you exhale. Feel it rise an inch or so, and then as you inhale, feel the glow return to the small of your back. Take another deep inhale, and as you exhale, pull in your navel, imagining the glowing spot of gold rising higher from the small of your back. Feel it rise up, and as you inhale, glow will slightly lower, but now you have 2 spheres of golden energy at the small of your back and above it. Inhale deeply and exhale, pulling in your navel. And now the glowing energy rises even higher up your spine. As you inhale, there will now be 3 swirling spheres of golden energy along your spine, from the small of your back and higher. Continue breathing deeply, and with every inhale, expand the abdomen, and every exhale, pull in the navel, feeling the glowing ball of energy rising ever higher up your spine. Now you have 4 glowing spheres of energy along your spine. Breathe in deeply and exhale slowly, pulling in your navel and sending the energy even higher up your spine towards your head. Now there are 5 spheres of energy along your spine. Take a deep inhale and slow exhale. Feel the energy rising ever higher. Now there are 6 spots of energy between your low back and higher. Take another deep breath. Exhale and feel the energy rising. Now there are 7 glowing spheres of energy from your low back up into the spine, along your rib cage, toward your neck. With another deep inhale and slow exhale, now the energy is rising up into your neck. Now there are 8 glowing spheres of energy from your low back to your neck. With your next inhale and slow exhale, you will feel the energy rising into the back of your head. And now there are 9 glowing orbs of energy from your lower back to the back of your head. Focus your mind on these glowing spheres of energy. With your next deep breath, your slow exhale, now the energy reaches the top of your head, and this time, instead of falling backward, you'll feel it flowing forward to the point directly between your eyes. Now with each deep breath, the energy surges up your spine to the top of your head and flows downward to the point between your eyes and then to a spot just above your upper lip. You can feel all of the glowing golden spheres of energy between your lower back and the top of your head, the space between your eyes and your upper lip. With your next breath, you feel the energy flowing to the space at the front of your neck. You feel all the glowing golden orbs between your low back to the top of your head, to the space between your eyes, to the space above your upper lip, to the front of your neck. Breathe in deeply. Exhale slowly. And now the energy flows into the center of your chest at the level of your heart. You feel connected to each glowing ball of energy from your low back to the top of your head, to the space between your eyes, to the space above your upper lip, to the front of your neck, and now to the center of your chest. Breathe in deeply. Exhale slowly. Sends the energy from the small of your back to the top of your head and down to your solar plexus, a hand span above your navel. You feel every glowing, spinning sphere of energy from your low back to the top of your head, to the space between your eyes, to the space above your upper lip, the front of your neck, the center of your chest, and now the space a handspan above your navel. Take another deep breath and send the energy swirling along your spine to the top of your head and down to where it started at the space a couple of inches below your navel. As this energy reaches your energy center, the glowing sphere there will glow brighter. Now you feel all the glowing spheres between your low back, the top of your head, the space between your eyes, the space above your upper lip, the front of your neck, the center of your chest, the space a hand span above your navel, and now the space 2 inches below your navel. Now with every breath, you feel all the glowing golden spheres of energy becoming brighter and brighter. Every breath is increasing the energy of every sphere, and every sphere is growing larger. As the energy continues to grow, you will feel it traveling outward from your core to your edges. The glowing golden energy now fills your abdomen from your rib cage to your pelvis. You feel the glowing presence of energy growing to fill your entire chest. You feel the glowing golden energy filling your head. You feel the glowing golden energy filling your arms from your shoulders to your fingertips. You feel the glowing golden energy filling your legs from your hips to your toes. As your body is filled with the glowing golden light of your energy, you feel it flowing to every cell of your body, every part of your body, so that you are now glowing from the inside out. You are filled with glowing golden light. You are filled with energy. Take deep inhales and slow exhales, letting yourself bask in the radiance of your energy for as long as you would like.